Welcome back. I'm Fungai Maboreke. With exactly 1 week before the Nigerian presidential elections, these are one of the most important elections in the history of the country. We're joined directly from Abuja by the Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairperson, Mr. Kayode Idowu. Mr. Kayode, welcome to Sahara TV.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. So we're going to go straight into the nitty-gritty here. So with all that's been happening, what are INEC's contingency plans should there be massive failure of card readers? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the possibility of these card readers failing. Can you explain to us what the plans would be?
Thank you. Thank you very much for that question.
Mm-hmm.
The first point I will like to make is that there is no basis to assume that there will be massive failure of card readers. There is no reason, and there has been nothing has happened in the course of our testings and demonstrations to indicate that such could happen. Now, this narrative about failure is completely misoriented and misconstrued. What is meant when we say card reader has failed? The Commission has explained that the card reader has 4 objectives.
Mm-hmm.
The first objective is that INEC wants to be sure that every voter card that is brought to the polling unit is a genuine card issued by the Commission. Now, we have done the public demonstration. That was 100% successful. Every card that was brought was read by the card reader. Where we had reports that there were cloned cards, the card reader did not read it. I didn't know whether you hear about what happened in Rivers State, for instance. I think there's another state, or somewhere, where fake cards were brought and the card reader did not read it, which is also a proof of the fact that any card that INEC has not issued will not be read by the card reader. And once the card reader does not read the card, and which means the card is fake, then that card cannot be used at the polling unit. So that was completely successful. Another objective was that the Commission wants to biometrically authenticate the presenter of a card which has been read and known to be genuine. That was where we had issues.
Okay, so I think that also follows my next question, where we say the computer system that you have supporting these card readers, are they secure from potential hacking or corruption, people tampering with them? Are you certain that this is not?
Okay, again, that's another issue that honestly is not valid at all. Is a misunderstanding of how the card reader works. There is no computer system at all.
Okay.
Supporting the card reader. The card reader is not online. It is battery operated.
Okay, can you describe to us how this works for those of us who don't?
It is a battery-operated device that works like a point-of-sales terminal.
Mm-hmm.
It reads the embedded chip on the permanent voter card. Mm-hmm. It is not connected online. The data that is sent to INEC server is sent by GSM network provider. So it is not online, it cannot be hacked, you cannot corrupt it because it is not online. The battery, yes, the battery, can there be battery issues? Yes, there was battery issue in Ghana, and that was why the Commission designed this card reader to have a minimum of 12-hour lifespan if it is fully charged. And we also saw that during the demonstration. There was nowhere the battery failed.
So there's backup plans to obviously recharge these batteries should they, die down.
Oh, sure. The Commission has more than 36,000 spare batteries.
Okay.
Such that, number one, if these batteries are fully charged, it will outlast the accreditation. But if you have any, because these are human things, if there is any place where, for whatever reason, these batteries are not fully charged, or the batteries did not function as expected, then the batteries we have 36,000 spares with which we can replace.
Okay. So you obviously have the backup plans. Now we're going to move forward. There's been a continuous pushback on having the military involved in the elections. And how do you separate that from the need to use military plans to move INEC materials to hard-hit areas, hard-to-reach areas? How do you separate that?
Yeah, you see, the commission has always worked with security agencies, including the military, since 2011 on the platform of the Inter-Consultative Committee on Election Security. Now, in our electoral process, the military's role is limited and clearly defined. The military are never anywhere near the polling units. As a matter of fact, there is no arm within 300 meters of the polling units. It is against the law. And so the policemen and the other uniformed agencies that you could find at the polling units, they do not bear arms. They are unarmed security agents. But because the bad elements could take advantage of the fact that these people are not armed, beyond 300 meters, you have the mobile police patrolling. They bear arms. They don't come to the polling units except there's an incident where they are invited by the unarmed people. Then for the military, they are only in readiness for rapid deployment. You actually do not see them. The only place you will see the military around election days is at the checkpoint, entry points into towns, where they do search, cordon and search for ammunition, so that people do not traffic arms into towns where they could use it to cause havoc. That is the only place you will see them visibly. Otherwise, you won't see them. They will be in readiness. But there's also the psychological element that when these bad elements know that even though you can't see them, they are there, available for rapid deployment. It is also a deterrence of such. So that is where you have the usefulness of the military. They do not come near the polling units. As a matter of fact, in the last elections that we have done, there was no cause to even call them, even though they were there. They were never deployed because there was no cause for it. So they were just in readiness. So that is the role of the military. They do not come near all this narrative about the fact that the presence of the military could scare voters and all that. As a matter of fact, the knowledge that the military are lying low somewhere reinforce the confidence of the voters to know that if any untoward thing happens at the polling unit, there will be intervention by people who can handle the matter, the situation.
Okay. So of late, there's been mounting pressure on the resignation of your boss, Mr. Professor Jega, and he still insists that he's not stepping down anyhow. How is this affecting or distracting his work towards these to go ahead with these elections?
Yeah, you see, Professor Jega is staying absolutely focused on the job at hand. Yes, it is challenging, it is distracting, all this, but the test is to refuse to be distracted. He believes, and I think it should be obvious to every right-thinking person, that at a time like this, Nigeria is bigger than its ego. And so that's why he said it will be a disservice to the nation for a person in his office to resign at a point like this. So he's staying focused, he's working hard at the task.
Okay, thank you. So now there are suggestions that now elections may not take place at recently recaptured areas from Boko Haram. Will those affected be able to vote at displaced individual centers around?
Yeah, you see, the arrangement that the commission made before now was that displaced persons will be able to vote in safe areas within the states. And now territories are being reclaimed. We have to see whether those people go back to the reclaimed territories, or if they don't go back to the reclaimed territories, then of course, the voting will still have to be conducted in the safe areas where they have been displaced to.
Okay. So one other question would be, is INEC afraid or worried about asymmetrical attacks from Boko Haram?
No, really, because the security agencies are on top of their game. They have been clearing out the Boko Haram elements, and the commission is also engaging them to make sure that they not only clear out those areas, but they also make sure that these lone wolf attacks are not mounted or to disrupt the elections. And so there is confidence that the environment is safe enough will be made safe enough for electoral operations.
Okay. So there have also been accusations or allegations rather that some sectors of society saying that some areas supporting one political party appear to get their PVCs while others do not. Is INEC investigating its staff in charge of the distribution of these PVCs?
Yeah, you see, that narrative is completely false. That is the point. There is nothing like that. I have a table of the distribution of PVC before me. There is nothing that indicates that one area that is controlled, because in any event, how do you know which area is controlled by which party? How do you determine that?
Well, sometimes they have strongholds in certain areas. I mean, it's quite a possibility.
That's an assumption. How do you know? It's an assumption. The mere fact that the government is actually in power in a state, a party is in power in a state, is not a guarantee that that same party will return to power in that state. We underrate voters when we even think like that. Right. So this narrative honestly has no basis. There is no preferential distribution of PVC. The same arrangement has been put in place for people to collect their PVCs, and people come out in different states to collect the PVCs. If there's any state where there is you have not had a high level of collection, the task at hand is to encourage the people to come out and collect their PVCs.
Right. So in general, how prepared do you think INEC is for these elections within a week?
Yeah, I can assure you that INEC is prepared. INEC had done much even before the rescheduling of the elections. But I can tell you that since the rescheduling, INEC has done much more, and we are at comfort level, and there is firm assurance that as much as it lies within the commission, we are headed for a resoundingly successful election.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kayode Idowu, for joining us and also giving us an update of exactly how you've been preparing for these elections. So viewers, stay tuned. That was Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman from Abuja.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.